Lots happening right now in our region.
Perch patterns have been working really well.
The bite has been good.
Just keep snapping it off the body.
The down imaging, the side imaging. There's a lot of different variations and different ways to rig this.
Oh, yeah! Look at this giant.
They are heavy.
Oh, look at that.
On today's show, we're talking trophy time.
This is AnglingBuzz TV. I'm Troy Linder.
I'm Jim Edlund.
Well, summer is pretty much here. It's in full swing. That means it's time for big fish. Just about this week last year, I hooked into and landed my personal best muskie. Now, I was fishing that day by myself, which is quite a challenge, netting that beautiful beast. And this summer, I hope to best that because I know that there's 40, even 50-pound muskies swimming around. As well, I want to add also to that a certified 7-pound smallmouth, which there are a lot of places across the upper Midwest to get that.
Definitely, Troy. I think in our region, you've got a really good shot at a big smallie in that class or a muskie, but the definition of a trophy can really vary. For me, the past couple of years, I've been fishing panfish more, hunting unicorns, so to speak. Those big bull bluegills, 10, 11, haven't broken the 12-inch mark yet, but I'm gonna try. I also love big flatheads, and I'm gonna fish catfish more.
Yes, and whatever you're fishing for, please practice catch and release so they can grow even bigger. Right now, here's some summer trophy hunting strategies. Summer's here, and with it, great fishing opportunities for numbers and trophy fish. The concentration of spawning fish is now dispersed. Bait is hatched, and fish have begun to congregate in your predictable summer spots. As a general seasonal indicator, seems like by the 4th of July, every species in our region goes on the chew. Walleyes, bass, pike, panfish, salmon, catfish. And let's not forget muskies, those big toothy critters that feed voraciously during the summer's heat. Big fish require more food, pure and simple, as their metabolic needs shoot through the roof. That's good news for anglers. More feeding means increased odds at a new personal best to brag around social media. Yes, generally speaking, summer fish movement and behavior simply becomes more predictable. By July 4th, the walleye post-spawn blues are over, and the fish start moving towards breaks, humps, and deeper waters easily identified with today's digital lake mapping. On waters like Mille Lacs Lake, that means the tops and edges of the lake's mudflats, where rigging and jigging wrapping are proven walleye strategies. On Lake of the Woods or Green Bay, you'll find walleyes out in open water chasing suspended forage. The perfect setup for pulling cranks or crawlers, and fish stacked up on reefs and humps where bombing big cranks or swimbaits can produce Kong-sized eyes. But don't overlook the weeds in walleye waters. Pitching plastics can produce fish when other methods fail. Summer is also big bass time, with fish set up on weed lines and main lake structure. But there's also plenty of bruiser-sized bass in the slop and under docks. So whether you're probing deep cover with a jig worm, flipping docks, or working the salad with a topwater frog, you're on the road to big summer bass. Each type of cover providing protection from the sun and an ideal location to ambush food. Come July 4th, big brown bass also know it's fireworks time. Fish exploding on prop baits and chuggers in waters both shallow and deep. Power fishing is definitely the program. Cranks, spinner baits, and paddle tails all must have smallmouth weaponry. Summer gets serious for muskies and big pike too, with fish patrolling forage-holding rock piles, deep water breaks, and weeds like nuclear subs. In fact, seems like more trophies are caught and released each year during the summer peak. Your AnglingBuzz homework this summer? Break out the power fishing gear and pursue your next trophy fish. Then visit the AnglingBuzz Facebook page and share your summer trophy photos and stories. We're anxious to hear your reports.
I know I'm looking forward to a summer of big fish opportunities. Troy and I would like to encourage you, your next personal best, your next funny fishing story, your next trophy, please post a picture and tell us about it via our social media or using the hashtag AnglingBuzz.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing those. And this time of year, you know, the fish are on the move. They're chasing forage, the weed growth is changing. A lot of factors are going into why and what they're doing. And it's very important to understand the movement of fish to catch that trophy.
This Underwater Minute is brought to you by AquaView, the original underwater camera. To catch fish, you have to be where they live and when they live there. If fish never moved, finding them would be easy, but such is not the case. All fish species move within their environment to meet basic needs. Some needs are seasonal, like spawning. Others occur on a daily basis, such as the need for food and safety. Understanding both seasonal and daily needs helps you narrow down and intercept fish movement in productive spots. And that's only half the battle, because once you find them, you still have to get them to bite. That means choosing a lure or bait that fits the species you're after and the conditions you encounter on any given day. When making lure choices, depth, speed, size, action, and color are important variables to consider. Anglers have to make lots of presentation choices: fast versus slow, deep versus shallow, subtle or natural versus bright. Good anglers are constantly experimenting, ultimately letting the fish tell them what's on the menu for that given day.
Great big one, too. Ooh. Whoa.
Explore Alexandria, Minnesota. Whether it's a long weekend or a week-long loaded with family fun, you'll find plenty of things to do in Alex. Unleash your inner explorer with over 300 lakes, beaches, parks, hundreds of miles of trails, dining, golf, shopping, museums, and history. Alexandria is Minnesota's hidden gem. Go to explorealex.com to find your vacation this season.
You have a choice: turf or surf. It's fishing season. Welcome to the outdoors. We're baiting, casting, drifting, and limiting out. The outdoors never felt so good. Catch, release, and keepers. The outdoors never tasted so good. It's fishing season. We are outdoors. Mills Fleet Farm.
Sportfish Michigan is your #1 source for top charter captains and fishing guides in Michigan. Our network of professionals are full-time anglers with years of experience providing customers with the best possible fishing trip services. Fish for trout, salmon, steelhead on Lake Michigan or its famous tributary rivers, the Traverse City area's world-class smallmouth bass, walleye fishing on the Detroit River and Saginaw Bay, or northern Michigan's spectacular ice fishing. We do it all. Sportfish Michigan. Get out. Get bit.
Welcome back to Angling Buzz. Right now, it's time for a highlight destination feature. This week, it's not one place, we're going to 4 trophy locations. I'd say the 2 I'm most excited about: big smallmouth on Lake Mille Lacs and giant muskies in Green Bay.
Definitely good stuff, Troy. For me, walleye's king. We're going to go to Michigan, look at Saginaw Bay, and then the catfish trifecta of the Mississippi, Minnesota, and St. Croix right in our own backyard.
Let's get right to it. Here's 4 top trophy locations.
In Michigan, Saginaw Bay's trophy walleye numbers are off the charts, thanks to successive years of high walleye hatches and excellent recruitment. These days, the bay's walleye population is 100% naturally producing and doesn't require supplemental stocking. Where to fish? The Charity Islands, off Point Au Gres and Tawas Bay, and the Inner Bay all produce excellent fishing from April through fall. In terms of tactics, trolling cranks, spinners, and spoons on boards consistently puts big walleyes in the boat. With 5 fish bags totaling 25 pounds, the 2016 Bassmaster Elite Angler of the Year tournament made a big name for Minnesota's Mille Lacs Lake. The lake's got all the right stuff for trophy smallies: reefs, rocks, weeds, and shallow to mid-depth flats. And hiding under those boulders, lots of crayfish to grow these fish big, old, and fat. There's no bad place to fish. Just launch your boat and start looking. This time of year, scan the clear, shallow waters for roaming wolf packs. Then grab a topwater rod and hold on. 4-pounders are average, 5's routine, and fish pushing 6, even 7 pounds are possible. Many experts believe the next world record muskie could come from Wisconsin's Green Bay. waters that consistently produce 50-plus inch fish and giants in the 40 to 50-pound class. But the Green Bay muskie scene hasn't always been so bright. The fish were pushed to near extinction in the mid-1900s. Yet, concerned anglers and biologists managed to turn the fishery around through an aggressive stocking program of the Great Lakes spotted muskie strain. Since then, natural reproduction has taken off, turning Green Bay into a world-class fishery. Trolling's the name of the game for locating fish on the expansive waters, from wrapless super shads to foot-long or better baits. But don't forget your casting gear. Double bucktails and big plastics fished around the bay's many reefs also produce its share of trophies. While the Deep South is catfish country, the North is gaining attention for drag-busting flatheads and pot-bellied channel cats. Meandering over 300 miles of holes and log jams, the Minnesota River is one of the highest quality flathead fisheries in the country. Biologists report Minnesota River fish tend to live long, and catch and release has sustained an incredible trophy fishery with lots of 30 to 50 pounders. In 2016, angler Jake Robinson caught a new state record on the Minnesota River, a mammoth 49-incher with a 33-inch girth estimated between 62 and 64 pounds. Many believe it's only a matter of time until a 70-pounder is produced. The Mississippi River is another catfish gem. From Minneapolis and St. Paul's Pool 2 south through Pool 4, Old Man River cakes out monster flatheads and channels also. A stone's throw away from Twin Cities, the St. Croix River is yet another option. Whether fishing upstream or downstream from Stillwater, anglers scour holes and report monster flatheads the entire year, with trophies in the 50-pound class.
All right, some of that catfishing has got me intrigued. I've done a little catting myself, and it's a low water year in some areas, you know, around the upper Midwest, and really concentrates some of the fish.
Definitely looking good. You know, we've got Brad Durick up in the Red River. He's catching tons of fish. Lots of opportunity even in the metro, from the bank, in a boat. Lots of different ways to fish them. It's hook, line, sinker. Couldn't be more fun.
Yeah. All right, well, enough of that. Let's get right to our Buzz Bite reports. Here's what's happening in their region.
Hi, I'm Captain Ben Wolf with Sportfish Michigan, and I've got this week's Angling Buzz report for the state of Michigan. Bass fishing remains red hot all across the state, and most of the state of Michigan is in a post-spawn pattern. For both largemouth and smallmouth bass, top waters early in the morning or in the dusk, or spinner baits during the day are great options for finding these post-spawn fish. Grand Traverse Bay up near the Traverse City area is a fantastic spot to be fishing for lake trout and some smaller king salmon. However, there are regulation changes, so make sure you check out the DNR to see what the regulation changes are for size and limits. The mayfly hatch continues all across the state. For fly anglers wanting to target the largest trout in the system, fishing at dusk and into the night is the most productive time to be on the water.
If you're traveling anywhere near Michigan, check out sportfishmichigan.com.
Our next report, we're heading over to Wisconsin with Jeff Evans.
Today we're in the Hayward Lakes area, and the walleyes are really on the feed right now. We've got just an excellent bite going with big numbers days. We're fishing right in shallow cabbage weeds, pulling that boat right into the thickest part of the weeds and just using jigs and minnows, and we're having 30, 40 fish days, so that bite's really good. We also have a good smallmouth bite going. Water temperatures have shot up into the mid-70s with all the warm weather that we've had. So the smallmouth bite is really good. If you back off of those spawning flats, you'll still catch a lot of fish using suspending jerk baits and plastics as well. Shawamigan bait, the smallmouth bite, is on fire. I was just up there the other day. We had big numbers again using crankbaits and suspending stick baits. For more information on fishing northern Wisconsin, go to jeffevansfishing.com.
As you can see across the upper Midwest, pretty much the spawn is done. The fish are moving into that post-spawn, pre-summer period.
Also great intel, look to the weeds for walleyes, especially cabbage. Good stuff.
Lake Vermilion. Explore. Relax. Reconnect.
Minnesota's most beautiful lake.
Get hooked on our trophy walleye.
That's a beauty.
Bass.
My favorite fish.
Musky fish.
That's a beauty there.
Things to do? You'll never get bored.
Rooms with a view? We got 'em.
Lake Vermilion. 4 seasons of fun.
Because boaters know and follow Minnesota's aquatic invasive species laws, 98% of lakes are not known to have any zebra mussels. 95% are not known to have any kind of invasive animals or plants. Let's keep it this way. Clean aquatic plants and animals from boats, trailers, and equipment. Drain all water from watercraft, including the motor, and keep drain plugs out during transport. Dispose of unused bait properly. Together, we're preventing the spread of aquatic invasive species in Minnesota.
If you're looking at this, how do you know it's not this? If you see this, how do you know it's not actually this? Trust your AquaView and you'll see the real underwater world. AquaView leads by innovation. First in high definition, first in handheld viewing, the finest underwater optics, the brightest, sharpest screens, the original underwater camera, and the fish finder that puts you on the fish.
Welcome back to Angling Buzz. Now let's check in with Chad Schilling out on Lake Oahe, where they're really catching a ton of walleyes.
This has been an amazing week of fishing. I can't even guess how many fish we go through in a day, but excess of 100 is really realistic. We're still shallow, pulling bottom bouncers and spinners, smiley rigs. Pro Tackle has a whole line of stuff that we've been running, but the smiley blades and the propellers have been awesome. What I've been doing is trying to keep my prop from hitting bottom and pulling in 3 to 5 feet of water for the most part. 6 feet is on the deep end. Going pretty fast, 1 to 1.5 mile per hour. But we're finally, this week, we're starting to see some overs. 2 to 3 overs every day, them fish over 20 inches. The bite is incredible. The only downside is we're only getting a few crappies a day, 3 to 5, maybe 10 crappies a day. But smallmouths, catfish, northerns, white bass, everything is there. Lots of numbers, lots of fish. Get to Lake Oahe right now. It's amazing.
It is pretty amazing how shallow they're catching those fish, like that deep. That's what they have the boat, and that's where those fish are coming out of.
That's just amazing. Bottom bouncer rig, shallow water, you cover a lot of ground. It's like a vacuum cleaner. Now let's check in with Charlie Moore, also in South Dakota.
For the walleyes, we're trolling spinners and crawlers. Cranks have been good, the rally fish has been good, the wally shad has been good, and I love this new bait from Rappo. That one's been really good also. The key to remember with the bottom bouncers, if you need to, if it's a calm day in clear water, get the boards out. If you move them out from the boat, it helps you immensely in the number of fish you catch. For the smallmouth, man, swim baits and jerk baits have been the ticket. So this little 360 GT, that thing's just been stellar on the smallies. Also, some Zara spooks, topwater baits. I'm catching them on spinner baits. Smallmouth are up on the flats. So walleyes are out in the main lake in the 8 to 10 foot flats, but the bite is really good. Time to get out and fish eastern South Dakota.
Our next report, we got some muskie action happening on Lake Vermilion with Luke Runastrand.
We've got our first week of muskie fishing under our belts, and fishing's been pretty consistent. We have some fish that are still in the weeds. Water's about 65 to 70 degrees, and we've been getting some fish on CJ spinnerbaits, also on the Muskie Frenzy triple Apaches, and a little bit of topwater action. And we've also kind of been getting into a few open water fish. As you can see, we're trolling right now. That bite's been kind of slow, but it's going to steadily get better. Been using some of the bigger trolling baits that are right behind us, trolling out with the Cisco's. So running our baits about 5 to 15 feet down.
Just giant fish coming off of Vermilion, and as those heaters come up from the south, that bite's only going to get better.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Our next report, we're heading over to Leech Lake with Jason Freed.
We are in that summer transition period right now, and the fish are starting to move out into the primary breaks as well as out into some of the deeper water. If you're on Leech Lake, you want to look to the main lake rock piles, Annex, Submarine, Moki, areas around Big Rock Reef. Variety Reef, Huddles Reef, those are all areas that are kicking out fish. And as we get into the bug hatch here now in middle of June with the mayflies, the spinner bite's going to take off using a small spinner with either a crawler harness or a slow death hook is a great presentation to kind of match that hatch. You want to definitely focus your efforts right now in 12 to 20 feet of water. Find the area where you maybe have gravel, rock mixed in, trolling spinners, working those areas over with Lindy rigs. This is a great time to be on Leech Lake, and some of the best fishing to be had is this time of year.
Leech Lake, the mayfly hatch, you don't have to be scared of it. Spinner rigs and walleyes there, it's like peanut butter and jelly.
Yes, it is. Our next report, our final report, is from Ben Hiddle in the Alexandria region.
Catching walleyes in 15 to 25 feet of water, pulling bottom bouncers, spinners and crawlers. Remember, 1 ounce for 10 feet of water, 2 ounce for 20 feet of water, and 3 ounce for 30 feet of water. And I've been using the 2 ounce with about a quarter size spinner on it. Bait Fish Image, Northland makes it. Been working great at a leech or a crawler, either one. What I've been looking for is the weed lines with a lot of green vegetation and bait fish. The more bait fish, the more fish. Just paralleling right down that weed line, going 0.8 to 1.1 mile an hour, just back and forth looking for them fish.
Yes, it's a great rule of thumb from Ben Hiddle. It's not rocket science choosing a bottom bouncer.
Yeah, it is pretty easy. 1 for 10, 2 for 20, 3 ounce for 30 feet. After this short break, we have our cool product segment and our technique of the week as Angling Buzz continues.
Looking for the perfect fishing vacation? Leech Lake, Minnesota. There's over 112,000 acres of water to explore with fantastic walleye, bass, pike, panfish, and trophy muskies. The fishing opportunities are endless. Leech Lake has it all with over 30 resorts, lodges, campgrounds, and hotels line its pristine shores. Plan your trip. It's Minnesota's original up-north vacation destination.
Many things have been said about rough waters, but few things have been said about a smooth ride. The revolutionary Smooth Moves Ultra is a mechanical suspension system that features a 4-spring design and a hydraulic shock, providing the most comfortable and durable ride on the market. Through passion, tenacity, and the right equipment, you can overcome even the roughest waters.
Excel Outdoors, storage solutions for sportsmen. Cargo rack, cargo trunk, bucket caddy. Jaws of Ice, the best auger carrier ever. Hunting, the ladder stand caddy. Fish and game boards, and the extruder board. Organize your life outside. Excel Outdoors.
Now it's time for our cool product segment brought to you by Mills Fleet Farm. We're talking big fish today, so here's some tools to help you handle that big fish. You know, a good set of jaw spreaders. This is from Rapala. You also have a nice fish gripper. This is a floating fish gripper, comes in a couple different sizes. Really, really great. And then a good pair of pliers right here. It also has a side cutter, 8.5-inch stainless steel pliers, extremely important. All three of these tools are very, very important. You want to have them in your boat. And for Bagley, they have a number of different baits for big fish like muskie and pike. You know, these baits can be used either trolling or casting, a lot of different colors, a lot of different sizes available, like this Bango B8 all the way down to like a monster shad. Check these out, these are from Bagley. For walleye and bass, the BX series from Rapala is excellent. They have a little dual hinge system that makes them run nice and true. Balsa interior, copolymer exterior. They're extremely durable, premium VMC hooks. They're also sinking, so they're slow sinking bait, so you can work this. You can count it down to different depths. The colors are great. The copolymer outside kind of gives it a 3D look to it. Really, really cool. For walleye fishing, well, Northland and walleye, that goes hand in hand. The Fireball series of jigs. This is the stinging jig. We also have the stand-up jig. They come in a variety of different sizes, different colors. This is best used on live bait, crawlers, leeches, minnows. They have a shorter shank hook, but they also have a separate eyelet, a secondary eyelet below it. What that is used for is their stinger hook right here. This is for short bites. You get walleyes that short bite. They're a little bit touchy. This is perfect. You use this in tandem with that. It's a deadly combo. A good net is always good to have in the boat. EIGHT has a fantastic series. This is the S2 slider right here. Coolest thing right off the bat, you hit the button, it extends out really long like that, and you can bring it in at a few different lengths. It also breaks apart in two pieces, or separates, I should say, in two pieces, just like that for easy storage. Different hoop designs. It's coated, plastic coated, so your hooks don't get hung up in there. This is from EIGHT. This is the S2 slider. They have different nets as well. You want to check these out. They're really, really awesome. All these products are available at your local Mills Fleet Farm store. You can also get them online at fleetfarm.com. Today, fishing is really fantastic for many different fish species, and most anglers like to take photos when they do get a trophy. So you've got a big fish in the boat. Make sure it's doing well in the live well or hooked up alongside of the boat until you're ready for that perfect shot. Now let's think about lighting. Natural lighting early in the day or late in the day is always best. Position the boat so the angler and fish are facing into the sun. Since the sun will be at your back, make sure you're at an angle that doesn't throw shadows on the angler or the fish. If the angler is wearing a hat, make sure to tilt the bill up for a little bit more lighting on the face, or simply remove the hat. Next, try a test shot with the angler holding their hands out without the fish. Try that a couple times, portrait and landscape. You can turn on the grid function in the camera setting in an iPhone to help you with composition, keeping the angler and fish along the grid lines and intersection points. This is called the rule of thirds. Pushing the fish slightly towards the camera is a common technique, but not too far to distort the size of the fish. In bright sunlight or low light, turn on the HDR function to help create a better image. You can also ramp up the exposure on most smartphones. There's also a flash for extremely low light conditions, and you can add a headlamp or other light source to capture better night fishing shots too. Check your focus on the test shots. Although autofocus is good, you can also tap on the fish or the angler's face to lock in focus there. Now have the angler remove the fish from the live well, being careful not to touch the gills. Have the angler get in position and take several shots, but don't keep the fish out of water too long. When you're done with the photos, just release the fish and then share away on social media. Yeah, today's show is a lot of fun, and again, when you do get that trophy, you want to make sure that you can get a really good photo to brag to your friends.
Hey, next week we'll be talking angling organization, something we could all use a little more of.
Yeah, I think I need a little organization too, looking at my tackle situation. All right, again, we want to remind you, helping to stop the spread of aquatic invasive species. Anytime you leave the lake, clean, drain, and dry. Be sure to check us out online, AnglingBuzz.com. All of our current reports are up there, tips, tactics, articles to help you catch fish right now. And also you can enter our sweepstakes presented by Mills Fleet Farm for a fabulous weekend of fishing and fun on Lake Vermilion. Thank you for joining us. I'm Troy Lindner.
I'm Jim Edlin. We'll see you next week.
This week's Buzz Bite Report.
Tony Roach.
Ray Brostone.
Topwater's been really, really fun.
Good luck, everybody.
Have fun.
We'll see you next week.